I decided to set out on a walk to Disney Marketplace side, the old downtown Disney area. And I'm starting from the west side, from Cirque du Soleil, House of Blues. And because I want to go over to Marketplace and don't really want to walk through crowds, I'm going to go around this way. This path will take you to Old Key West, the Treehouses, Saratoga Springs. Balloon up in the air today. Weather's not too bad. I mean, not too bad for the balloon. It must not be windy. It's certainly chilly today. It's supposed to be a high of 64. Feels like it's in the 40s. I tried to do this walk back in the summer, June of 2020, when the DVC resorts were just opening and Disney Springs had opened, but none of the theme parks were open yet. And I met a block up here. So I checked with security to ask if this will go through. He said, yeah, you can walk through. There's nothing blocking you. The problem is coming back into the west side of Disney, because the only checkpoints are either through the garages, the parking garages, or on the Disney or the Saratoga Springs side. So this walk around is perfect. I just had an Everglazed donut a little late in the day, and yet I have a reservation at Homecoming at 11:45, which is 45 minutes, and I need to walk some of that donut off. If you're staying at Old Key West or Saratoga Springs or the Treehouses, and if you'd like to run in the mornings, this is a great option of a path. They have some golfers out up there. I shouldn't be in their way though. I should be on the normal walkway path. As a non-golfer, I really don't know golf etiquette, so I suppose you should keep that in mind if you're walking through a golf course. Make sure you're not in anyone's way. It's good they have some screens up there to stop the golf balls from entering this parking lot and hitting cars. A lot of people out golfing today. Oh, see, there is a sign. There's something that blocks it. No access to Disney Springs. That's all that says. It's not really keeping you from going there. You just can't get in through that sidewalk.
I guess now, yeah, now it's moving.
Hi. So I'm not familiar with golf etiquette. There's not like a problem walking on this pathway, is there?
No.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm not getting in anyone's way. Thanks. Perfect. I'll do that. Thanks. So you can't go the way he was to the left there.
Yeah.
So you can go straight ahead.
Plus I'm going away for a week.
I'm going to keep going. That two-way traffic is the golf cart, so I know we can cross down here farther. A little bit of information on the purple martins here. We have these purple martin birdhouses. In the house where I grew up in the suburbs of Illinois, my parents had a purple martin birdhouse in the backyard. I grew up thinking it was normal for birds to have birdhouses that looked like townhouses. It's very peaceful here. This is the Sassagoula River. It also, not only does it go by Saratoga Springs and the Treehouses, but it's the waterway that'll take you to Old Key West from Disney Springs, and the waterway that will take you to French Quarter, Port Orleans. As far as I know, you can't walk from French Quarter, Port Orleans to Disney Springs. If anyone has different information on that, I'd love to hear about it. I've stayed there a few times. I tend to run in the mornings, as long as I've slept well and have some time before heading out to the parks. And I've looked for ways that I could just run all the way to not Saratoga Springs. I've looked for ways that I could run all the way to Disney Springs. I think there's a couple of golf paths, but again, that gets into the golf etiquette. And you really shouldn't interfere with the golfer's game. So even if you're not staying at Old Key West or not staying at the Treehouses or Saratoga Springs, this is a nice path to escape the Disney Springs crowds. If you need a little peace and quiet, you want to go for a beautiful walk, need to get a little exercise before your meal or after your meal, stayed at Old Key West in June. I was able to take the path from Old Key West over to the Treehouses. At that time, I really wanted to see the Treehouses. I've ridden past them in a boat many times, but had never been up close and in them. So I walked over from Old Key West. Went through the grounds, awfully quiet in there. So this is the point where you'd split off. If you go to the left, or I should say straight ahead, that's to Old Key West, the sign says. And if we go this way, we're going to the Treehouses. And from the Treehouses, you can get into Saratoga Springs. I love this bridge. So peaceful. And that's also where the waterway splits off. To the left, the boats would go to Old Key West. To the right, they'd go to Port Orleans French Quarter, which is closed right now. Here's a view on the other side of the bridge. Tree has some beautiful purple flowers in it. That seems kind of late to me for that. What do I know? They do talk about some of the butterflies. They have some information along this nature pathway. So you see, we're in the tree houses now. Beautiful cypress trees. There's another lovely tree house there. Not a bad place to be if you really want a social distance and you have a family. There's the bus stop. We have people caring for the wetlands. They show a raccoon, a possum, and an armadillo. Armadillos fascinate me. Being from Illinois and now living in Arizona, really don't come across them often. So here's the sign. It says the pathway to Saratoga Springs. Morning. Morning.
Come on, kiddo. Come here,
Little traffic jam there. So now we're at Saratoga Springs. It's 14 minutes since I started filming. I suppose if I edit any of this, it'll only take out a couple of seconds, so we're good in saying that it's about a 14-minute walk. I didn't run any of it. I'm not walking super slow. You could probably tell by my camera bouncing. So it's just a good stretch of the legs, that's all. Saratoga Springs is a huge, sprawling resort. It's one of those resorts that's so big there are multiple bus stops. When you take a bus to or from here, you can be on the bus in the Saratoga Springs property for a long time before it actually gets off and out and starts heading toward its destination. We're doing some work here. Can't quite tell where it is they're working on. It's like a parking lot. There's part of that same golf course that runs over here on the Saratoga Springs side. Oh, that must be staging area for all the construction equipment. Morning. Sprucing it up. Oh, looks good. No windows, huh? Morning.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Morning. New windows look great. This is one of their pools. Not the main pool. Glad there's a sign. Pathway to Carriage House, check in and check out. I do tend to get a little bit lost in here. Little food cart out there, the Disney food cart out by the golf players. Guy's waving. This will give you a sense of exactly where we are. So we just here. We just walked through the grandstand area. We're here. We're heading toward the Carriage House check-in, and we're going to go through Broadway over to this area, to Congress Park, and get to the walkway to Disney Springs. So we're here, going to the Carriage House area over to Broadway. That'll take us to Congress Park, and then we'll take the walkway to Disney Springs. least they warn you. This walkway for golfers only on that sign. It's good they tell us. For us non-golfers. Saratoga Springs has a great pool. Of course, I think the Beach Club pool, Storm Along Bay, is the best with its sand bottom and many different areas, but the main pool here does remind me of the Beach Club. Actually, the style of this reminds me a lot of the Beach Club.
I have some in my car.
Morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
So I do have 2 other passes that I don't need.
Just walk through the main pool area. It's quite nice. I have the artist palette there for food. The turf club, which looks out over on the golf side. And then their swimming pool. Very spacious. I remember a time when they were doing movies in the pool, the floating movie screen. I don't know if they do that anymore. It's kind of chilly right now. They have the best fitness club here. So if you like to work out, Saratoga Springs really has the best gym. This is their day spa, Senses. This is their vacation club, selling office. At least that's where I was when I bought my vacation club. They brought me here. So it's going out to the main street. About 25 minutes now that we just passed the main section of Saratoga Springs Resort. I'm going to guess we have about 10 minutes to go, which should be perfect. Just going to let me go. They have Surrey bike rentals here. There's a sign pointing Surrey bike traffic. Can go this way. I've only stayed here a couple of times, and both times I was in the Congress Park area. The nice thing about that is it was so close to Disney Springs. It was easy to just walk over there, do some shopping, a lot of options for meals. So now we're in Congress Park. Once you're in here, you start to see signs for Disney Springs. I'll show you which way to go. See, there's a sign up here, a small green sign, Disney Springs, with an arrow pointing to the left, giving us guidance, thank you sign. Congress Park bus stop. I'm not an authority on this resort, so I don't know if that's a good spot to catch the bus or not. Another Disney Springs sign. Looks like they're doing some work on these buildings as well. Here's one of the more quiet pools, as Disney calls them. They're not necessarily always quiet, but the kids tend to want to go to the bigger, more themed pools. You can see the balloon across the water in Disney Springs. My final destination is going to be pretty much back near where I started, just behind the boathouse over there. Maybe the boathouse is behind a tree at the moment, but if you know what it looks like, you'll recognize it right away. All the boats and the floating dock out there. Really good seafood. But on the expensive side, I typically like to eat outside at the bar, over to the right of the boats. And then to the left, that blue area, they have event space. Seems nobody's doing events right now, but they have a beautiful event space where I was looking to host several customers for a dinner. We eventually decided against it because it was just too challenging trying to get the customers on a bus over here and navigate them through Disney Springs. Beautiful view. Paddlefish. Paddlefish has a bar up on top. Another nice quiet spot to have a drink. Good happy hour location. We are almost to Disney Springs. Almost to the entryway. So again, if you Need an escape from the crowds at Disney Springs because it has been quite crowded lately. There's too much chaos there. You need some peace even though you're going to be at Disney Springs for the day or several hours. Take an escape. Don't start at this end and go around though, because this is the health checkpoint. You want to start on the west side. There's a loud helicopter went right over me. You want to start on the west side, walk around so that you can conveniently come back in on the marketplace side. This is where the boats launch from Marketplace. No boats right now. The walkways are closed from dusk till dawn. And this is it. Heading towards the marketplace. This is 32 minutes, approximately. I could stop and look at a map a little bit. Ducks diving down in the water. Their little hind ends sticking out. I just love seeing the wildlife at Disney. Squirrels here seem to be very friendly. Thieves, but they're friendly. A lot of ducks, a lot of birds. Walking keeps me connected to God. This is one of the ways that I stay connected no matter where I'm at. Thanks for coming with me.